Hello, welcome to La Excellence. In this video, we will see the important events of 2018. Here in this booklet, all the important events, national events, international events, and events related to sports and other issues are given. So we should use this small booklet as a revision booklet for us because we have to learn the concepts deeper as compared to the matter given in this booklet. So let's see this as a reference or as an index to our current issues, and we need to revise all our issues based on the events that are given over here. Here if you see, the news events are given date-wise and month-wise. We will have to see what are these important events that are related to our examination. Here, in this first event, it's mentioned about Bhima Koregaon battle at Koregaon in Pune, Maharashtra. This battle was happened between Marathas and Britishers. During this particular battle, Britishers won and Marathas were defeated. In British Army, there was one battalion consisting of Mahars. Mahars were considered as lower caste in this particular region. So, commemorating this victory, one pillar was built in this particular place. Last year, in its bicentenary celebrations, means 200-year celebrations, that particular place has seen violence. Violence broke out between different communities, killing one youth at this particular place. So because of that, this place and this particular event was controversial. So in history, we need to remember what is this Bhima Koregaon battle, who fought it, who won, etc. The next issue that is important over here is about FERA violation case. FERA is Foreign Exchange Regulation Act. RBI regulates the foreign exchange reserves in India. Any foreign exchange transactions will have to happen through RBI and the RBI approved mechanisms. Here in this case, Vijay Mallya has paid certain amount to foreign companies without any prior approval of RBI. In that particular case, he is being named as offender in the FERA violations. Here, the basic point that we should understand is FERA was regulating the foreign exchange. Now, we have different act known as FEMA, Foreign Exchange Management Act, which replaced this FERA in 1999. As this person has offended this particular violation in this year, we are prosecuting him under this violation. But as of now, we have FEMA Act, Foreign Exchange Management Act, not FERA Act. Under FERA Act, any foreign exchange violation is a criminal offence. But now, under FEMA Act, it is a civil offence. That's why, in this particular case, court has ordered to confiscate the property of his, not to jail him. Earlier, under FERA Act, jailing and punishing through criminal offence was the mechanism that was followed. But now, under FEMA, foreign exchange violation has become a civil act and it attracts civil punishment. Next issue that is important is national anthem and Supreme Court's verdict on that. Supreme Court earlier in the year 2016 said that playing national anthem in cinema halls is mandatory, but it has revised its own judgment. Supreme Court has the revisionary powers where it can revise its own judgment. So, in this particular case, Supreme Court told that playing national anthem in cinema halls is not mandatory. It is optional. So that's one of the important judgments. Next important issue is with regard to the decisions made on FDI. Center has taken two important decisions. One is on Air India. In Air India, foreign airlines can own up to 49%. Why only 49%? The company which has majority stakehold, that means 51% or more, will have major decision making power. Air India is a public sector airline. So we are allowing only 49% because to hold the majority stake in that. And the other decision that was taken is with regard to single brand retail. Earlier also in single brand retail 100% FDA was allowed, but that require the approval from the RBI. But in this month 100% FDI in single brand retail can be made through automatic route. Automatic route means prior approval is not necessary. So this will reduce the procedural gaps. So others can come and invest easily. So for this purpose 100% FDI is allowed through automatic route. Next event is with regard to Cartosat 2 series satellite. Cartosat 2 is a remote sensing satellite. We have two different types of satellites, remote sensing satellite and the communication satellite. This Cartosat 2 belongs to this category of remote sensing. It means it observes the earth from the remote area, sends the information to the ground level. That information can be used in different applications. This Cartosat 2, this has application in cartography, observing the earth either for minerals or for different resources and map them on a particular plane. So for that application, ISRO has sent Cartosat 2 series satellite through PSLV C-40. The next article is on Haj Subsidy. Here we should understand what is this Hajj. Hajj is the annual pilgrimage that in general Muslims made to Makkah and regions nearby that place. For that, central government used to give subsidies for the poor Muslims who are unable to afford to travel over there. Why was this decision taken? We used to give subsidies, but then in 2012, some people went to Supreme Court and asked giving religion-based subsidies is in contravention to the principle of secularism. Then Supreme Court has asked central government to slowly phase out the Hajj subsidies by 2022. So to follow this, central government told that Hajj subsidies will not be given in the form of airfare, but we will find the alternative routes. That's why central government has made agreement with Saudi Arabia for allowing the sea travel to the Hajj Yatra. Saudi Arabia has agreed, and it has agreed to increase the quota. Quota means every year Saudi Arabia keeps certain limit. From this country we will allow only this much people, these many people, like that. This year it has increased the quota for the pilgrims that comes from India. So those are the two things. And while abolishing Hajj subsidy in the form of airfare, central government also told that this money will be used for the education of Muslim girl children. So they said empowering is more important. Muslim children, girl children, specifically girl children, for their education, this money would be used. That is with regard to Hajj subsidies. Next issue is with regard to ASEAN countries and India. ASEAN is Association for Southeast Asian Nations. In this association, there are 10 countries. So, for January 26th, for the event of Republic Day, we have invited the heads of all these 10 countries. This is in commemoration of this ASEAN-India Dialogue Partnership. This has marked 25 years. In celebration of that, we have invited 10 ASEAN leaders to our 69th Republic Day, on January 26th. So, in this context, we should revise what are these ASEAN countries, where are they located, we should know their names, and for the mains purpose, we should know what is the relation between ASEAN and India, how this relationship is moving forward, that we should know over here. Next issue is supermoon or a blue moon. Supermoon is nothing but when there is full moon and when the moon comes at the nearest place from a distance to earth. If it is the earth, moon revolves around earth. So when full moon occurs and that moon is revolving near to the earth, that we call as supermoon. After eclipse, we have experienced this supermoon and blue moon phenomena last year. Next important event is with regard to the budget presentation of 2018 and 19. In this budget, the major features are Ayushman Bharat program. Ayushman Bharat program is the comprehensive health insurance scheme. This Ayushman Bharat is named as National Health Protection Mission. Under this particular program, secondary and tertiary healthcare services, in these two services, insurance is being given to the citizens. Along with that, for providing primary healthcare services, health and wellness centers are established. The other fund is Affordable Housing Fund. To provide housing for all, Affordable Housing Fund has been proposed under this particular budget. And reintroduction of long-term capital gains tax. Long-term capital gains tax means if there is any asset, after selling that asset, we get some profit out of it. That is known as capital gain. On that capital gains, we need to pay certain tax. Earlier, we have abolished this particular tax, but again, in this budget, we have brought in long-term capital gains tax. Here, the word long-term denotes selling of either real estate asset or shares. When we sell all this, after getting the profit, on that profit, whatever tax that we pay, that is known as long-term capital gains tax. Next issue is with regard to the Supreme Court's judgment in Kaveri river water sharing. This year, Supreme Court has given this judgment which has increased the water limit, the water share limit to Karnataka, which subsequently reduced comparatively to the water share limit to the Tamil Nadu. And Supreme Court has directed the central government to appoint an implementation mechanism, because the problem is Supreme Court is directing them to share this much and to share in this season this much, etc. But who is implementing that? There should be one implementation mechanism which oversees interstate river water disputes. For that purpose, Supreme Court has directed central government to appoint Kaveri Water Management Authority in this particular case, and in the later months, central government has appointed Kaveri Water Management Authority. And here the basic point that we should know is under Article 262, river water disputes are dealt with. Parliament should make law to deal with river water disputes. With regard to that, Interstate River Water Disputes Act was enacted by the Parliament. It has declared that a tribunal will be appointed for each of the interstate river water problem. And the decision of this tribunal with regard to interstate river water sharing is final. But then, recently many cases are going to Supreme Court even with regard to interstate river water disputes. And Supreme Court is also accepting it because river water sharing has long repercussions on the economies and the political systems of the states. So, Supreme Court is accepting them. Next important issue is with regard to commercial coal mining. In India, coal mining can be done by the private players, by the public coal mining companies. But earlier, private companies are allowed only to go for captive coal mining. Captive coal mining means if they require the coal for their own industry, then only coal blocks are allocated for these private industries. But in general, to mine the coal and to sell it to other industries, public sector companies were only allowed. But now, after this decision, government opened up commercial coal mining for Indian as well as foreign firms in the private sector, so that coal availability in India would be increased, which will increase the availability of production of energy, which will increase or promote the industrialization. With this thought, government has liberalized the coal mining policy. The next important issue is with regard to Supreme Court's decision on passive euthanasia. Supreme Court upholded passive euthanasia. What is the meaning of euthanasia? The meaning of euthanasia is granting the opportunity for the person to die painlessly. When the person is terminally ill and the doctors certify that this person cannot become normal, brain dead, or in coma, in such cases, the supportive systems, medical supportive systems, will be withdrawn and the person eventually dies. That is known as passive euthanasia. Supreme Court in Aruna Shanbag case said that passive euthanasia can be done and it is legal, but it can't be done arbitrarily. Every case need to be scrutinized judicially, then only passive euthanasia can be allowed. But in this particular case last year, Supreme Court said that passive euthanasia can be allowed and patients themselves, they can write advanced medical directives or living wills. So they will write in their living will, they will write, if I am in this condition, my relatives can direct me to go for passive euthanasia. So such thing is made legal in this particular case. Next issue is with regard to no confidence motion. No confidence motion was introduced in the parliament, but it was not passed. No confidence motion is introduced by the opposition parties, and it can only be introduced in the Lok Sabha. And if no confidence motion passes with a majority, then the government will have to resign. In this particular case, no confidence motion was not passed, so government is intact. And the opposition party need not to tell the reason for introducing the no confidence motion. Constitutionally, it is not mandatory to give the reason for introducing the no confidence motion, and it should be introduced and it can be introduced only in Lok Sabha. These points we should remember. The next issue is with regard to the Supreme Court's decision over Scheduled Castes and Scheduled Tribes Prevention of Atrocities Act. This act was introduced by the Parliament to reduce to prevent the atrocities on the vulnerable sections like Scheduled Castes and Scheduled Tribes. Here, even if one person abuses, the person belongs to SC or ST, verbally, the person will be arrested. So in different ways, in case of any abuse, the person can be arrested. There is no provision of anticipatory bail, and there is automatic arrest process that is made mandatory under this particular act. Automatic arrest means if someone complains, and automatically the person will be arrested. The accused will be arrested without any preliminary inquiry. And anticipatory bail provision is not there under this particular act. But Supreme Court says this is leading to misuse of this particular act. So anticipatory bail provision as well as removal of automatic arrest that need to be taken. That was the Supreme Court's decision. But then there were huge protests against this particular decision. Central government through law has made these mandatory again. Next issue is with regard to honor killings. What is the meaning of honor killing? The person is believed to have brought the dishonor to the family. So the person will be killed. Especially the women are the victims of honor killings. The lower castes are victims of honor killings. So Supreme Court in this particular judgment has given that honor killing removes the individual liberty, freedom of choice, and one's own perception of choice. So honor killings should be prevented. And also it has upholded the choice of consenting adults to love and marry as their fundamental right. So this is the decision given by the Supreme Court with regard to honor killing. This statement we can use when we write any answer with regard to honor killing. Next issue is with regard to GSAT-6A. This is the communication satellite. We discussed that satellites are of two types, remote sensing satellites and communication satellites. GSAT-6A is a communication satellite launched to improve the communication facilities. But due to some technical issue, GSAT-6A has failed. Next issue is with regard to IRNSS 1I. This is one of the satellites launched to complete the IRNSS system. IRNSS means Indian Regional Navigation Satellite System. This is like our indigenous GPS. GPS is the system of USA. Likewise, we also have our own standard positioning system and the dynamic positioning system, which is provided through IRNSS system. In this system, we have 7 satellites which will cover the entire Indian landmass and the surrounding areas. With this, we can go for effective and indigenous GPS system. IRNSS 1I is launched as part of IRNSS constellation of 7 satellites. We already have 7 satellites, but IRNSS 1H failed. So to replace this IRNSS 1I was launched. Next issue is with regard to the amendment to the Criminal Law Act. Amendment to the criminal law was made, and here rape of girls below 12 years, this attracts the death penalty for the individuals. So stricter provisions are made to punish the people who go for certain heinous crimes, especially if you take this girls below 12 years. On them, if person commits rape, that person will be awarded death penalty under the amended Criminal Law Act. The next issue is that Indu Malhotra, this person is the first woman who has become Supreme Court judge directly from the bar. Bar is law association. From the bar, she became judge of Supreme Court. And you might have observed in the Sabarimala case, she is the one who has given the dissenting judgment, given the judgment against the majority judgment. Here, this factual point we need to remember. Maharashtra became first state to provide digitally signed land receipts known as 7/12 receipts. So this can be asked as a prelims question. Which of the following state is the first state to provide digitally signed land record receipts or 7/12 receipts? It is Maharashtra. Next issue is with regard to Nipah virus. In Kerala, Nipah virus has created panic during this particular period. Nipah virus creates respiratory problems And encephalitis. Encephalitis, cephali means head. Encephalitis means the skull of the head becomes smaller, especially in the newborns. So that leads to many medical complications. So Nipah virus generally spreads through pigs and bats. So this also spreads to humans through these hosts. This leads to respiratory problems, encephalitis, etc. So we should know the symptoms of Nipah virus. If there are any vaccines for this, we should know that. And what are the impacts of Nipah virus? These we should know. Next factual point is that INSV Tarini has become the first Indian vessel with all women crew. So they have circumnavigated the entire world and they have reached INS Mandovi in North Goa. So this can be the factual question that in prelims can come. So INSV Tarini is first Indian vessel, means a small kind of ship which carried all women crew members, and they have circumnavigated the world and reached safely. Next issue is in Jammu and Kashmir, the ruling party has pulled out, the BJP has pulled out its support, and Mehbooba Mufti, the ex-chief minister, she has resigned. Subsequently, governor's rule was appointed. Governor's rule is the specific provision given for the Jammu and Kashmir state itself. Other states, we have president's rule, national emergency, other things, but not governor's rule. Governor's rule is imposed in that particular state. When governor's rule imposes, executive is controlled by the governor, and legislature, it can be suspended or it can be dissolved. But automatic dissolution will not happen. So in general, legislature will be suspended. Other important issue is Kaveri Water Management Authority and Kaveri Water Regulation Committee. These two are notified by the central government according to the judgment given by the Supreme Court. So now these will implement the judgment given from the Supreme Court on how much to share between Karnataka, Tamil Nadu and Puducherry, Kerala. These four states share the river water of Kaveri. Controversy is between Karnataka and Tamil Nadu. Recently, Supreme Court has revised this share. This decision will be implemented by these two boards. Next, Mumbai is the first city that has imposed tougher plastic regime. Plastic-free regime means plastic use is heavily controlled in the city of Mumbai. Next event is Dam Safety Bill 2018. Central government has proposed this particular bill, Dam Safety Bill. Some states like Tamil Nadu has opposed it because Dam Safety Bill says that whoever is using the water from the dam, whoever is getting the benefits from the dam, they should maintain certain standards of safety. Regular audit should be there, etc. Here, Tamil Nadu has different interest. There are different dams in Kerala. For example, Mullaperiyar Dam. The dam is located within Kerala, but its water and benefits are being used by Tamil Nadu. So according to this bill, Tamil Nadu should be responsible for the maintenance and safety of the Mullaperiyar Dam. But they are opposing it. As of now, Kerala is only taking care of that. So Dam Safety Bill was proposed but not yet passed. The next issue is UGC, University Grants Commission, is being replaced with Higher Education Commission of India. Center has proposed that UGC is functioning inefficiently. So it wants to replace it with the Higher Education Commission of India. Cabinet has proposed the bill, but it's not been passed. The next issue is with regard to the Supreme Court's decision with regard to Delhi Lieutenant Governor versus the Council of Ministers. Delhi is the national capital territory. it is a union territory, but it has these specific provisions. It has the specific provisions of having the legislature. In general, union territories are under direct control of the center, but due to its specific position, Delhi as well as Puducherry, these two are given specific status, and these can have legislature and elected representatives in the form of chief minister and council of ministers. So this is being granted to these two union territories. Now the problem is union territories are mostly controlled by the center, but elected governments are there. And lieutenant governors for these union territories, they are appointed by the centers and they are the direct representatives of the center. At the state level, governor has his or her own constitutional independence. But then for union territories, the lieutenant governors are the administrators, they are the direct representatives of the center. So when there is different parties at the central level and the union territory level, this becomes the controversy. At the union territory level, we have the elected government and the center's representatives in the form of lieutenant governor. And if center's party is different from the elected party in the union territory, there exists a conflict. Now, in case of Delhi, AAP is having conflict with BJP and Lieutenant Governor is almost controlling everything, that is stalling the governance in the process. Then they went to Supreme Court. This AAP, Council of Ministers, they went to Supreme Court. Supreme Court in this particular judgment said that as people have directly elected them, they have more powers. So Lieutenant Governor is bound by the aid and advice of the Council of Ministers, as like in other states. He cannot control everything. Elected government should have the real powers. That is the judgment or decision given by the Supreme Court in this particular case. Next issue is with regard to Fugitive Economic Offenders Bill. This has been passed, Lok Sabha passed, Rajya Sabha passed, and final act was made. Fugitive economic offender is the one who escapes from the country to escape the prosecution within the country. So, to declare a person as fugitive economic offender, his economic crime should be more than 100 crores and a FIR should be filed on his name. Then only we can declare a person as fugitive economic offender. Recently, Vijay Mallya was declared as fugitive economic offender under this particular act. Next important event is Lok Sabha has passed Prevention of Corruption Bill 2018. Under this particular bill, amendments are proposed to Prevention of Corruption Act 1988. For this particular act, there were few amendments that were proposed. One is changing in the definition of corruption itself. Earlier, gratification need to be defined. Gratification is getting any benefit in the form of money was defined as corruption. But now, getting anything other than the salary is known as gratification. Plus, stringent punishments are proposed not just for the bribe taker but also for the bribe giver, unless this bribe giver is forced. In that case, in case of forceful bribe, there won't be any punishment if this person reports it within 7 days. Otherwise, both the bribe taker and bribe giver will be punished under this particular act. And there were few amendments like for prosecution of the officials, both the working officials and the retired officials, permission is needed for the investigating or prosecuting authority. Then, in case of proving corruption act, special courts are established for confiscating the property of the officer. These are the main provisions or main amendments that were made to Prevention of Corruption Act 1988, and this bill has been recently passed. The next article is National Register of Citizens. Here, National Register of Citizens is been implemented in Assam state. Here in Assam, according to the Assam Accord of 1985, this Assam Accord of 1985, according to this, central government has agreed that the illegal migrants will be sent out from the state. Based on this, to implement Assam Accord, NRC has been initiated. Under this, who are citizens, who are non-citizens are recognized. Under this process, 40 lakh people or 4 crore people applicants in Assam were left out of this particular list. So they have registered again now. The process is still going on. Next issue is M. Karunanidhi, the former Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu, passed away in the month of August. In this regard, we should know that he is part of Dravidian movement and the regional politics in India started from different states, and Tamil Nadu is one of the biggest regional powers when Congress was ruling different states. In that context, we need to see self-respect movement, Dravidian movement, and how they impacted Indian culture, Indian politics, that we need to understand from this particular person. The next issue is with regard to BCCI's constitution. BCCI's constitution has been finalized by the Supreme Court. Supreme Court has appointed Justice R.M. Lodha committee. This committee has recommended many measures and it has recommended some points to be added as the constitution of BCCI. BCCI is one of the important cricketing bodies. So it takes all major decisions relating to cricketing in India. So it needs to be controlled because it involves huge amount, it involves public sentiment. That's why Supreme Court has intervened and brought up different reform measures in terms of BCCI. Here, RM Lodha committee has proposed one state, one vote recommendation. Each state should have one vote, but this proposal was rejected by the Supreme Court and its constitution, BCCI's constitution, was finalized. Next issue is with regard to Kerala floods. Kerala has experienced highest rainfall in a single day, because of which many dams in the state and many barrages got opened, which led to floods in the state of Kerala, which has created huge disaster in that particular state. Especially in the districts of Idukki, where Idukki Dam, Mullaperiyar Dam, from these dams water got released, which inundated the lower areas, which led to huge scale flooding. Next issue is about nota, none of the above option. This nota option was introduced in the year 2013 by the Supreme Court's directives. Supreme Court in PUCL versus Union of India case. In this particular case, Supreme Court said that right to vote also includes right to not to include. So, nota is part of right not to vote. So, Supreme Court says right to not to vote or nota is compulsory. But some argued that in Rajya Sabha polls, do we need to include nota or not? In this particular case, Supreme Court said that use of nota in Rajya Sabha polls is not correct. Only in the direct elections we need to use nota. That's the directive or judgment of the Supreme Court. Next issue is Sex Offenders Registry. For the first time, Sex Offenders Registry is launched in New Delhi. So, for prelims point of view, we should remember this factual point. Next issue is Supreme Court upholded constitutional validity of the Aadhaar. In Puttaswamy case also relates to right to privacy. That judgment was given in 2017, but Aadhaar judgment is given in the year 2018. This case is also known as Puttaswamy case. In this particular case, Aadhar's constitutional validity is upheld, and the Supreme Court told that private members or private companies cannot use the data of Aadhar, cannot access the data of Aadhar. That's the judgment given, and it has scrapped section 57 of the Aadhar Act. And in the same case, Supreme Court upholded live streaming of the proceedings. Live streaming means if there are any cases that are constitutionally important or statutorily important, those cases and the proceedings of those cases in the Supreme Court can be live streamed. That is one of the judgments given on the same day. Next issue is with regard to India and Russia relations, where both the countries have signed contract for S-400 Triumph air defense missile system. Before this, India and USA had 2+2 meeting where we have signed different agreements. After that, we have signed agreement with Russia for purchasing S-400 air defense missile system. So we should remember this factual data. The next issue is with regard to Supreme Court's decision on bursting the crackers during Deepavali. First of all, in this particular decision, Supreme Court said that green crackers are mandatory in the capital territory, Delhi, and then it has banned online sales. Plus, it has given time limit. Only 2 hours can be used for bursting the crackers. Likewise, there are different directives given by the Supreme Court under this particular case. The next issue is about Statue of Unity. Prime Minister has unveiled the Statue of Unity of Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel in an island named Sadhu Bet in the state of Gujarat near Narmada River. So all these points can be given as points in prelims question. So Statue of Unity, on whose name? Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel. And which island? Sadhu Bet. Which river? Near Narmada in the state of Gujarat. So this we should remember. Next issue is with regard to Budhar. Budhar is a 11-digit unique code that is aimed at easily identifying the land parcels at different places. This has been launched in AP, Andhra Pradesh state. Budhar is the number given to the land parcels. Next issue is regarding HISIS, Hyperspectral Imaging Satellite. It is a remote sensing satellite which is used using PSLV C-43 rocket. And here hyperspectral imaging satellite is used to get high quality images. These can be used in different applications ranging from agriculture, assessing the cropping area in agriculture, or waterways, or in different ways in forest assessment, etc. This can be used. That is HISIS launched through PSLV C-43 rocket. Next is with regard to train 18. It is India's fastest train till date. This has been India's first engineless fastest train which travels with high speeds. So we need to just remember the name of this train. Train 18. Next issue is with regard to Witness Protection Scheme. Under this particular scheme, witness is given protection, either if it is a serious case, either through change of identity or by simply providing police protection, witness is given protection. This kind of witness protection is very important for the justice system. That's why Supreme Court has mandated the center to notify the witness protection scheme. Next issue is genetic IDs. For the first time, Kerala state has gone for unique DNA based genetic IDs for the captive elephants. These genetic IDs are used to recognize these elephants in case of poaching or in case of any injury. This genetic ID can be used. This is done through DNA fingerprinting technology. What is DNA fingerprinting technology? Every person or every living organism has a particular DNA. So, by sequencing the DNA of a particular animal, we can see unique patterns. Each human being, each animal, each individual organism has different DNA. So, by sequencing the DNA, we can fingerprint, we can uniquely identify each organism separately. That's why Kerala state government has gone for genetic IDs for each captive elephant. Next issue is with regard to GSAT 7A. It is one of the satellites, it is one of the important communication satellite launched specifically for the Air Force needs. Indian Air Force needs. We have launched this particular satellite from Satish Dhawan Space Center in Sriharikota. GSAT 7A is communication satellite. And other issue is Lok Sabha has passed banning commercial surrogacy. Under Assisted Reproductive Technologies Bill, altruistic surrogacy is only encouraged, altruistic surrogacy is allowed, but not the commercial surrogacy. And this has been made explicit through this particular bill. Next issue is recently central government has allowed 10 central agencies to intercept and monitor the information from any digital network. This has led to huge criticism from different opposition parties. Here, the thing is under Information Technology Act 2000, there are certain rules that are made for intercepting the data. Under this particular rules, 10 central government agencies are given access to information stored in any computer, but it is not the absolute power. They have certain exemptions and limitations. They need to have permission from the secretary level to access any of this data. Next factual point over here is about Bogibeel Bridge. Bogibeel Bridge is India's longest rail-cum-road bridge built over Brahmaputra River in the state of Assam. So this is very important factual bit that we need to remember. Next issue is Lok Sabha has passed Muslim Women Protection of Rights on Marriage Bill 2018. Under this particular bill, instant triple talaq has been made illegal. If someone gives instant triple talaq, that person is being punished under this particular law. The next issue is POSCO Act, to Protection of Children from Sexual Offences Act. This act has been amended, and here boys also. If there is sexual assault on boys, that is also considered as offence under this particular act, and stringent punishments are given to them. Next issue is Prime Minister has renamed 3 Underman Islands after Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose. These 3 islands are renamed after Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose. We should see these names of these 3 islands and to what names they are being changed. So one island is named as Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose Island. Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose Island. One island is named as Shahid Island. Another island is named as Swaraj Island. Likewise, in Underman Islands, 3 different islands are named on Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose. These are the important national events of 2018. So, in the same booklet, international events related to sports are given, but these are not much important for us. So, that's why we have discussed all the important national events. So once go through the important international events and sports also if you are preparing for some state examination. Thank you very much and all the very best.